Let's talk about dilations. All right, so we've done translations, we've done reflections, we're on the dilations here. So dilations are maybe the easiest one out of everything to do. Dilations are going to have a capital D for dilation and then a subscript. And that subscript is going to be the scale factor. And the scale factor is the super important thing in dilations because that's the thing that tells you how much you're going to multiply everything by. So that's the scale factor, which you're going to see abbreviated by an S and an F almost all the time. All right, and then this is what you multiply by. All right, what you multiply by. So if we look what's going on over here, the most important things is that, number one, if there is no center listed, then the center is the origin. I'm going to say just about every dilation you're going to normally do is going to have that happen. There is going to be a separate file that's going to talk about dilations not centered at the origin. It'll be an optional thing that you guys can look at. We may or may not spend some time on it right now, depending on how much time we have and how everything else is going in terms of your guys' understanding. So for right now, let's just worry about when they're centered at the origin. All right, and we'll come back and we'll talk about how to do other stuff later. All right. So this is important also. When you do a dilation, the image is always going to be larger or smaller than it was to start with almost every time. What are the exceptions to that? When the scale factor is 1 or -1, because if you multiply something by 1, it stays exactly the same completely. If you multiply it by -1, it stays the same size, it just goes to a new location on the graph. So you want to make sure that we're careful with those. All right. Since we are going to do just about everything at the center this year, we just have to remember this little shortcut here. So when the center is the origin, we're just going to take the coordinates and we're going to multiply them all by the scale factor, whatever the scale factor is. All right, and this will actually perform the dilation. Now, this is not the perfect system to explain to you how a dilation actually works. A dilation actually takes the distance that each point is from the center and multiplies that by the scale factor. But because the center is 0, 0, we don't have to do all of that thing. So if you want to understand a little bit more about dilations, then look for that other thing that talks about dilations not centered at the origin and look at those, and that'll go a little bit more in depth to what dilations really are.